2026 seems like it could be an awesome year for movies. Here are my top 10 most anticipated films. Let me know which ones you're looking forward to the most down in the comments. Obviously, a ton of smaller films that we don't know that much about right now are going to pop up throughout the year, but as of right now, these are the ones that we do know the most about in order for me to get really excited. Hopefully none of these movies end up getting delayed. There are some movies that I would have liked to include on here, but they don't have official release dates yet. Terrifier 4 being one. I feel like it's gonna be 2026, but they haven't technically officially confirmed that, so it's not on the list. But now we'll get into the actual top 10. Coming in at number 10, this is one that we actually know very little about, but I'm excited purely based on the director, and that is Flower Vale Street. This is made by David Robert Mitchell, who did It Follows, one of my favorite horror movies ever, and Under the Silver Lake, a very bizarre, very interesting, very underseen movie that you should check out if you haven't. And he hasn't done a movie since then, and that was 2019. So no matter what he does, I want to see it. And this is apparently like an 80s sci-fi dinosaur movie. It's been very vague. Like the official synopsis, if you look it up right now, all it says is that some people in a neighborhood start to notice some strange things happening, but it seems like dinosaurs are involved somehow. And so I just want to see whatever he's going to do. Before he returns to the world of It Follows with the sequel, They Follow, I want to see anything else that he comes up with. Coming in at number 9, a sequel that I didn't think we needed, and yet I'm actually getting pretty excited for it, and that is Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. The first movie was a complete story. Didn't seem like we needed to do it again. This is just gonna happen to Samara Weaving again? And yet, since I enjoyed that first movie, I think this will be a really fun time. Radio Silence is returning to direct. Samara Weaving, of course, returns, and she's great. Teaming up with Catherine Newton this time, so that should be fun. We got a great supporting cast. Elijah Wood, Sarah Michelle Gellar. They just recently moved the release date up a little bit. It seems like they have confidence in it. And even though the first movie stands alone as its own thing, I am getting more and more excited for this one, and I think it's going to be fun. And I didn't watch the trailer. I don't know what they're actually doing with the plot here. I don't know if it's hide and seek again, if they're doing different types of games, if they're gonna mix it up. I'm not really sure, so I'm looking forward to finding out exactly how they structure the plot this time and make sure it's different from the first one. I definitely don't want it to just be a repeat. I don't really think they would do that. At number 8, we have a sequel to appeal to my inner child, and that is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I really enjoyed the Mario Brothers movie. It was very simple. It was very straightforward. That's Mario. The games don't really have a story. Go save Peach, jump on things, have fun. And so what it is, I thought they adapted pretty well. It was just colorful, fun, very fast paced. A lot of the actors surprised me in how much I enjoyed their renditions of these characters. And now we got Galaxy, which I love the Galaxy games. Those are some of my favorite games ever. We got Rosalina, we got some Sunshine Incorporation because we got Bowser Jr. in there. There are so many possibilities, just so many colorful things we could see. I'm looking forward to just having fun in this world and seeing them expand on the story of Rosalina, because that's actually some fun Mario lore, and all the different planets and galaxies, all the possibilities of places we can go, things we can see. It should be really fun. Number 7, we have one of the most celebrated filmmakers of all time coming out with a new movie this year. That is Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Now, I haven't really been a big fan of modern Spielberg. I haven't gotten really into any of his movies for quite a while, but I'm hoping this will change that. We got another Alien movie from the guy. Emily Blunt is starring in this one. Again, I don't know much about it. I really enjoyed the marketing build-up, how they didn't reveal the title. They were building up anticipation for the trailer, and even still, what it's actually going to be like is a little bit under wraps. You know, we got this like first contact story. People have discovered the existence of aliens and how they're going to reveal that to the public. Like, I want to see what kind of unique take Spielberg, at this point in his career, who has made quite a few movies about aliens, takes a different approach to that kind of a story. At number 6, we have another sequel that doesn't have a specific release date yet, but it has been stated to be coming in 2026. Hopefully that holds true, and that is Godzilla Minus Zero. I've never been a big kaiju guy. I really need to check out more of the Japanese Godzilla films, but I have seen a lot of the American ones, the recent MonsterVerse movies. They're so boring. I hate them so much. There's just nothing of interest in those. Kong Skull Island had some decent stuff, That one's pretty entertaining. But all the other ones, I just don't care. But I watched Godzilla Minus One and I was like, holy shit, this is like a real movie. Neat. There was actual like thematic depth and emotional weight and people I cared about and amazing effects, especially considering the budget. And I really want to see what they do with the sequel because the first one was like a horror film. In the American movies, when Godzilla's gonna shoot his atomic breath, you're like, fuck yeah! But in Minus One, you were like, oh my god, no, don't! Like, you didn't want him to do it because it meant all will die. So I'm curious if they're gonna bring him back and make him more of the good guy this time against other types of kaiju, and if so, which ones, and how that's going to mesh with the tone of the first film. I really want to see what they're gonna do, but yeah, I've never been excited for a Godzilla movie before. But now I am. Now we're on to the top 5. A lot of these could switch around their positions. I'm very excited for all of them. It doesn't really matter the order, but this is what I got for now. Number 5, the next entry in the DCU after I really enjoyed Superman. Supergirl. From what I saw of the trailer, the only thing that disappointed me is that the visuals don't look as interesting as they do in the comic that this is based off of, but I really want to see Millie Alcock's portrayal of the character. We've only had one solo Supergirl movie, and it is atrocious, and I want to see what else we got from the DCU here in terms of movies. This is not directed by James Gunn. We're going to be establishing more locations, more characters. Jason Momoa is in this as Lobo. I want to see how much staying power the DCU is really going to have, how much it's going to be able to grab people with something else like Supergirl. Number 4, I've had the book on my shelf for a while, but I haven't read it yet because I've been waiting for the movie to watch that first, and that is Project Hail Mary from Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, starring Ryan Gosling. I've heard great things about the book, which is why I bought it, but I've been holding off. It's written by Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian, which I love that movie, and I really like that book too, so I'm excited for this one. I've been trying to avoid learning too much about it, because people say there are some really good surprises. People seem to really love the book. So I am just looking forward to some good sci-fi. Number 3, one of the best directors out there, possibly the director whose name alone has the most pull nowadays. Christopher Nolan's got a new film, which means I'm excited no matter what, and that is The Odyssey. Now, I have not really been that into more recent Nolan. I didn't like Dunkirk or Tenet. Oppenheimer was extraordinarily well made, but it's just not one of my favorites of his. I prefer when he does these like sci-fi, interesting concept thrillers, which Tenet was, but Tenet was just not very good. So The Odyssey is not exactly what I would like to see from him, but the fact that he made all the money and all the awards with Oppenheimer and then got to do whatever he wanted, and he chose this, and it is of course a classic epic tale. I'm very curious, and I am quite excited. There have been quite a few complaints about historical accuracy with what we've seen from the marketing so far, and you know what? They're right. Matt Damon wasn't even alive back then, and yet he's in the movie? It doesn't even make any sense. In all seriousness, I don't give a shit about that. I just want the story and the characters and the themes and everything to be good. If you got armor that you want to do stylistically design rather than accurately design, I don't give a fuck. But it's Nolan. I'm going to be there no matter what. Could easily end up being one of the best of the year. At number 2, we got 2 Tom Hollands in a row. Back to the MCU with Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. I love most of these movies, and I'm very excited to see the follow-up to No Way Home. There was a lot of tension between Marvel and Sony with how they were going to follow it up. Apparently, Sony wanted more money, understandably, but they were like, multiverse. It made so much money. We got to do more of that. And Marvel, Tom Holland, Kevin Feige, they were like, yeah, but we should think about the story, Sony. Do you understand how to do that? Obviously, you fucking don't. Have you seen the Sony Spider-Man-less Spider-Man villain films? Sony doesn't know what the fuck a story is. They wanted to keep things a little more grounded, and it seems like we've landed on that side. I'm very excited to see the Punisher in a Spider-Man movie. If Daredevil was in it, oh my god, that'd be perfect, but we don't get that. Maybe Kingpin? Maybe. We don't know. We actually don't know a ton of details. We don't know who the main villain is, so I could get even more excited for this later. I'm not sure. I know Mr. Negative was speculated for a while. Seems like that's not happening. The inclusion of the Hulk is the one thing that's kind of, I don't know. I'm sure it's for a reason. I'm sure they're going to do things involving his character that warrant his inclusion, but that's one thing where it's like, okay, we're getting a little bit away from street level. We'll have to see how that turns out. But just stripping everything away from Peter, he's living in a shitty little apartment. He's got his own homemade suit, no Stark tech. He doesn't have MJ or Ned, even though they're going to be in the movie, hopefully in a very limited capacity. Please do not immediately undo what No Way Home did. But I really want to see this take on Peter and a more grounded Spider-Man movie. Destin Daniel Cretton from Shang-Chi, even though it's bizarre that they haven't made a Shang-Chi sequel by now. The fact that he's doing Spider-Man is awesome. We should be able to get some really cool web slinging, some really cool action. And at number 1, I have an epic sci-fi trilogy closer from Denis Villeneuve, Dune, Part 3. I really liked the first Dune, but it left me wanting because it was half a story. And then with Dune Part 2, I thought it was so much better, and it made the entire story better as a whole. And so I'm extremely excited for Part 3, adapting the book Dune Messiah, which I've heard a lot of people talk about, and the kind of direction it goes in for Paul's character. And that sounds really interesting. I don't know anything about the actual story, but just the thematic seeds that were planted, especially in Dune Part 2, everybody believing Paul to be Lisan al-Gaib and this prophet, this Messiah, this great savior, and where that's eventually going to lead, I think could be really interesting ideas to explore. I'm just excited to see all these actors return, including some new ones. Robert Pattinson's going to be in this one. They might do more after this, but this is supposed to be kind of the main trilogy closer, the last one Villeneuve is going to do. He is also one of my favorite directors, so I'm glad he's getting to complete this whole trilogy. I'll be glad to see him move on to other things as well. He's doing Bond, which is odd, but exciting. And after that, again, just like with Nolan or so many of these directors, anything he wants to do. But for now, we have a potential to have one of the best trilogies of all time if they pull this off. I think it's going to be kind of different than the first two, and I want that. I want it to feel a little more unique. And maybe that'll alienate some people. I don't know. Maybe it'll be weird for some people. But I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see how they do this and cap off Dune, at least for now. So hopefully 2026 will be a great year for movies. Leave your thoughts in the comments about all of these films I talked about, whichever ones I didn't mention, and we can talk even more about it down there. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me and hear me talk about these movies in much more detail when they actually come out throughout the year. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.